Hey everybody, what I've got here is the Swisstech Listig 7-in-1 multi-tool knife, the Go Anywhere companion. And as you might imagine, this is a ripoff of a real Swiss Army knife. And so I wanted to check this out and compare it against a real Swiss Army knife to see how it stacks up. And we're going to do that right now on Kitbashed Survival. So before we get into the Swisstech Listig, let's check out the original that this is really based upon, and of course that is the Victorinox Classic SD. So this is probably the most popular model that Victorinox sells because they're very useful, they're very well built, but they're also relatively affordable. In 2024, you can get one of these for about $24. Now, it's not the bottom of the line knife that Victorinox makes. There are simpler ones like the Escort, but it's pretty close, you know, very bare bones. It's got 7 tools in it, if you count the key ring. So you've got the scissors, and the Victorinox scissors are awesome. No matter what knife they're on, they're always great scissors. Then you've got the knife itself, which is right there, little teeny blade. And then you've got a nail file with a flat blade screwdriver. And then you've got the tweezers, and of course, the toothpick. So 7 tools if you count the key ring. So it's not the most useful Swiss Army knife in the world, but it is small, lightweight. You can put it on a keychain. It's kind of a unisex Swiss Army knife. You know, it's the kind of thing that both men and women would carry. So yeah, it's really a classic, and that's why it's called the Classic. And although it's relatively affordable at $24, it's very well made. I mean, with proper care, one of these should last really a lifetime. Now, I myself have never carried the Classic. I usually carry the Mini Champ, which is a little bit larger and has more tools. But yeah, this is a really cool knife and very well made. Now let's check out the Swisstech Listig. So you can see they're trying to do the same thing, 7-in-1 multi-tool knife. So it's got 6 tools plus the keyring, just like the Classic. It's got G10 handles, which is kind of cool. The right tools at the right size. On your keys or in your pocket, Listig's barely there design gives you the essential tools you need for the task at hand. Ultra compact, 2.3 inches in length, slim 0.35 inch profile, 6 tools plus keyring, G10 handle material for added grip. And then they've got the list of tools, which is exactly the same as on the Classic. Now this is kind of funny. Right here it says designed in USA, and this is something that a lot of companies do these days to kind of try to give people an impression of more quality. You'll see it says designed in USA, but then of course it's made in China, which it says so right here. So designed in USA, made in China. Now, before people start typing about how anything made in China is crap, that is not true, especially with knives. Now, it's true that 10 or 15 years ago, knives made in China were generally not very good. But there have been great strides in Chinese knife making, and these days, there are quite a few Chinese knife makers that actually make very nice knives, very high quality knives. So made in China does not automatically mean it's garbage, but you know, it does raise suspicion. Anyway, so let's get this thing open. It's a nice box. It's got a little cloth handle there, I guess for putting on hooks in stores. Now I got this at Walmart and it cost $12, so it's half the price of a Victorinox Classic SD. So let's see if it's half the quality. All right, and there it is. First impressions, in the hand, it actually feels okay. It doesn't feel lightweight and flimsy. It's got these nice G10 scales. I don't know if that's really G10 or if it's just G10-like, but they do feel nice. It does give you some grip, which that's one of the things they tout, because it is true that on a regular Swiss Army knife, the red scales don't have the best gripping ability. It's never been an issue for me, but it is true. It does have better gripping ability than your average Classic. Now, I should point out that Victorinox does have a whole line of knives that are called Grip, where they add grip to the title, and those do have soft, kind of rubberized gripping surfaces to help with gripping the knife better. But yeah, it feels okay, so let's check it out. Here is the main blade. I'm not sure what kind of steel this is. It's probably not the same quality of steel that Victorinox uses. Let's see how much play there is in the blade. There's a little bit of play in there. I think it's more than on the Classic. Let me see. Yeah, on the Classic, there is no play whatsoever. On the Swiss Tech, there is a little bit of play. So right out of the gate, there's a little dip in quality there. The blade seems pretty sharp. Can't really shave with it. Let's see how it cuts. Yeah, cuts just fine. So it's plenty sharp, especially for something this small. I mean, you're not going to be chopping down trees or anything. And I do like how the main blade has this little see-through fingernail hole, you know, to help get your fingernail in there to pull it out. That's nice. Then we've got the nail file, which does have a tip that could be used as a flathead screwdriver or a chisel, I guess. Seems okay. I don't like that surface as much as the Victorinox, although this does seem more like a metal file than a fingernail file. I mean, the one on the Classic is definitely meant for your fingers, whereas this one, you could use it on your fingers, but it also looks like you could use it on metal. Yeah, but overall, I don't like it as much as the Victorinox is. This is a really good nail file. This one, it's not going to be as good of a nail file. Might be a good metal file, and it'll file your nails, but the one on the Classic does a really good job. And then we've got these scissors. Let's see how these stack up. Kind of hard to get through there with these. They're jamming up a little bit. And let's try the Classic for comparison. Yeah, that went through it like butter. So yeah, the scissors on the Victorinox are definitely better than these. Let's see how they do on paper. Yeah, even on paper, they're not that great. I mean, they're okay. It's better than nothing, but the Victorinox scissors are definitely way better. And that's true for most multi-tools. Victorinox makes really good scissors. And even on Leatherman, I like the Leatherman scissors a lot, but they're, in my opinion, not as good as the Victorinox scissors. Then we've got the tweezers and toothpick, which don't really fit in there flush like the Victorinox does. On the Victorinox, you can see they're flush in there. And on this, you can see, or maybe you can't, but they stick out quite a bit. But let's pull them out. So there's the toothpick. It's a red one. Yeah, see it bent. Doesn't go in there very easily. And then we've got the tweezers. Now, these are angled tweezers instead of the straight tweezers like Victorinox has. I prefer the straight tweezers, but, you know, whatever. They go in there okay. Now, one thing I've noticed on Swiss Army knife knockoffs is that often the steel on the tweezers is not very good, and after repeated use, it'll actually break off. Whereas the Victorinox tweezers, they just keep on going because it's like a spring steel they use. It does have a little logo embossed in the G10, which is nice. And you have the key ring, which I'm sure is a key ring. So yeah, you know, it is half the price of a Classic. So for $12, I suppose it's not terrible, but my advice, I wouldn't waste my money on one of these. I would take that $12, save up until you have $24, and get the real thing. Well worth it, and this will last a heck of a lot longer than this thing will, and it'll perform way better. I mean, the scissors on these things are incredible. The knife is sharp. It'll stay sharp unless you do something to dull it, and even then it's fairly easy to resharpen it. And then the nail file and the screwdriver are good. And like I said, the nail file on these is really, really good for your nails, whereas this one looks like more of just a general file that's not going to be as good for your nails. And that's important, you know. It might not seem so. You might say, well, a file's a file. But one of the things that these classics and other small Victorinox knives are great for is personal grooming. In fact, I always trim my nails with my Victorinox Mini Champ because the scissors and the nail file are so excellent that I can use them for my fingernails. And then of course the tweezers and the toothpick can be used for grooming as well. So that's one of the standout features of the Classic is, yeah, it's a knife, it'll cut things, but you can also use it for personal grooming, which is, to me, at least a big deal. Whereas this one, you know, you're not going to be doing as much fingernail stuff and tweezer stuff. It's okay, but like I said, spend the extra 12 bucks, get the real thing, get the Classic SD, you won't regret it. And this one, yeah, forget about it. And if someone from Swiss Tech is watching this video, I'm sorry. I hate giving things bad reviews. I don't do that very often, but it's just not very good. I mean, again, for $12, you know, you get what you pay for. Let's put it that way. So it's $12 worth of knife, I suppose. Although for $15, you can get a Victorinox Escort, which again is going to be way better than this thing. So yeah, just stick with the real thing. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. That's going to do it for now. I'm Eric Siegel. This is Kit Bashed Survival. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.